All right, folks, we're down here in the Winter Circle at the Texas Motorplex in Ennis, Texas, and I have a very special guest with me who has a long, storied history in the Ford and Mustang community. This is Steve Turner. Steve Turner, thank you so much for being a part of our LMR Cruise In 2019. Tell us a little bit about who you are and how you got started doing what you do.
Well, I'm a longtime Mustang enthusiast, and I fell in love with these cars when I saw the 1982 Mustang GT. That was the one that really kicked it off for me. I started reading all the Mustang magazines when I was a kid. I was in college, needed to do an internship. I called up Super Ford magazine and said, hey, you need an intern? They said, yes, come on down. I did an internship and boom, turned into a job. Spent 20 years in the magazine biz doing Super Ford, 5.0 Mustang and Super Fords. Now I'm what I call a rogue agent. I'm actually editor of Fastest Streetcar magazine for NMRA, NMCA, and then I do a lot of side work writing about cool cars and cool events like this Cruise In.
Awesome, awesome. Now you're probably gonna have to dig around in your mind on this one. How many publications have you shot? And tell us a little bit more probably of the important ones to you.
That's pretty overwhelming. I've really only worked mainly for 5.0 and Super Ford. These days I do some stuff for Muscle Mustangs. Some of my stuff has ended up on hotrod.com and motortrend.com. I've done some stuff even for Ford Performance's website. So I'm kind of scattered everywhere, and then of course in Fastest Streetcar. As far as the stuff that meant the most to me, it was really always the opportunities to get to drive the new Mustangs. That was always most exciting to me, to be able to talk to the engineers, find out what went into building these cars, get to experience them really before anybody else had experienced them. And one that I helped put together but didn't write myself was the story we did in 5.0 in 2011 on the new Coyote engine before it came out. And we debuted that story, came out right as Ford was announcing the engine, and it was a really big deal at the time to share that information with people. So that's some highlights for them.
Oh yeah, very cool stuff. Now, I'm gonna put you on the spot again. We all have a favorite car. What is your favorite Mustang or Ford vehicle?
I can't really pick a favorite. I'm sure you've heard this before. It's usually I'm like an actor that falls in love with their co-star. It's usually the one I've driven most recently. I'm hoping I'll fall in love with the 2020 GT500 pretty soon. But really, one of the all-time favorite cars that I ever drove was the 2000 Cobra R, one of which Shannon owns one. That car is just very unique in its rawness, and I really feel like it's sort of set the stage for the Coyotes and things we have now. It revved high, it still had torque. It really was a game-changing car at the time.
I completely agree with you, Steve. Now, you did mention Shannon. Tell us a little bit more about your relationship with the owner of LMR, Shannon Gadarian.
Well, it goes way, way back to before there was an LMR. I met Shannon at the SEMA show, which is an industry show, if you're not aware of it. It's where all the aftermarket manufacturers come to show off their new parts, and there are a lot of project cars there. And I had a meeting with Shannon, who was just a fresh-faced young kid who had this idea to start this company selling parts, mainly restoration parts for Fox Mustangs, was really the basis of where it started. And I love those cars, as you know, 82 GT and all that. So at the time, I was thinking, well, it might be a little early to start restoring these cars, but I think that's a great idea. And I ended up writing a column in 5.0 Mustang and Super Fords about Shannon's idea, and that he was starting this company really before the company even had existed. It was only maybe a month before that he'd even licensed the name and all that. And it just kind of went from there, and obviously he was onto something, because it's 20 years and you guys are celebrating out here at the Cruise In, and it's fantastic.
I remember reading the magazings when I was just in elementary, junior high.
You had to say that, didn't you? To
yes.
make me feel old?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So, yes, a long storied history with Shannon. And what did you think of the event, Steve? What do you think of our LMR Cruise In?
I think it's really, really cool. The thing that really struck me yesterday is because it's really laid back, right? If you have a Mustang or a Lightning, you can just come in. You don't have to pay, you don't have to register. So that really brought out people with all kinds of cars. I saw everything from the latest Mustangs right down to a guy that obviously had a Project Fox that was about 10 different colors.
No doubt.
And still had a lot of parts to buy from you guys.
Yes.
But that relaxed atmosphere let people, it's not like it's judged, so they don't feel like they can't bring a car out if it's not finished. And it was really neat to see all those different cars in one place and just check out all the variety.
Very cool, very cool. Last question. You have seen a lot of cars in your day, a lot of builds, restorations, projects, whatever you want to name it.
Yes.
What do you think of Uncle Ted's, or Ted Vaughn's, 1985 ASC McLaren that his, of course, nephew Shannon restored for him?
That car is just crazy. That's all I can say about it. I spent some time speaking to Shannon about all the untold hours put into that car. And a lot of it you can't see, obviously, but what you can see is just amazing. And it's really special to see a Fox treated that way at all, but then a very rare car like a McLaren Capri, it's just turned out so nicely. It's the kind of car you would see in one of those really high-end car shows, but it's a Fox, and it's just really special to see that. So the car is amazing.
Absolutely, I'd completely agree. Did you say how long you've been doing what you do?
About 25 years.
25 years.
So you were probably, it was before you were in elementary school.
Probably so. That's about how old I am, Steve.
Yeah,
You're a legend. You're a legend. You're a legend. We can't thank you enough,
Hey,
Steve.
thank you for having me. I
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
Thank you.